Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is Paddock Live. Joining me as always is Joe Smith, but not as always.
Yeah.
This show is now at, 4 on a Tuesday afternoon?
Well, it's normally Wednesday night, but Man United have had the indecency to play Spurs tomorrow night instead. So the usual Paddock Live slot has had to be shifted forward a little bit.
If I wanted to watch football on Wednesday night, I'd support a club that's in the Champions League.
Do you know what I mean? I purposely picked United because I like Thursday nights in, give me a country that is semi-obscure.
Hey, nice little trip to Moldova.
Yeah, your Andorras.
Winners. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's talk about the big Ronaldo problem.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this, and this isn't wholly of Ronaldo's making, but we have had some difficulties with Ronnie. Not quite at the races when it comes to goal scoring. United out at the races when it comes to goal scoring. It feels a little bit like there's no sort of cohesion with the attack, and like we're trying to force the issue at times, getting Ronaldo on the score sheet. At other times, we're looking like he's not happy. Do we keep him on the pitch? Do we sub him? He's not been helped by the fact that obviously Anthony Martial is out. We are going to have an update as well, by the way, from the press conference. I will just give you sort of the main story of that is Martial is out this weekend. He's out tomorrow.
It's a shame that.
Yeah, Eriksen's a maybe, Martial's a no. So again, we're probably going to be relying on Ronaldo. Yeah. You've been going over it. You've been going over a couple of games, haven't you? What games have you been looking at for us?
So I've been looking at the Newcastle game. I've had a look at a couple of games in Europe as well this season, which, to be honest, most of the games Ronaldo's played have been in Europe. A lot of the minutes he's had have been in Europe. Yeah, and the point, there's a couple of points that we will go through, but one point I want to make is, and it's not something Ronaldo is doing, and that is, it feels as though people are passing to him because it's him, rather than because he's the best player to pass to. And it's almost like, do you know at school when like one player was regarded as the best player, so everyone just gives it to them, or give it Gareth, he'll score. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. It's almost like they're going, give it Ronaldo, give it Ronaldo, he'll score. Like they're so, I don't know if it's like the sort of overawed by him. There's a quote from Anthony in the week talking about how incredible it is to play with Ronaldo, the best in the world. It's just to be around him for a few weeks is an honour and all this stuff. Like, rightfully so, these players are clearly in awe of Cristiano Ronaldo and the things he's done. Fair enough. But you need to be objective when you're playing football. And I think sometimes it seems to me that players are passing to Ronaldo when other options are on, and it doesn't seem like they're doing this as often with other players, if you know what I mean. It seems to be a uniquely Ronaldo thing at the moment. So we've got a few graphics here. If we can just bring the first one up here. I'll go through a few sort of situations that we found ourselves in the last couple of games. So this is one here against Newcastle at the weekend, right? Bruno Fernandes on the ball just there, and this is Cristiano Ronaldo here. In between Cristiano Ronaldo and the ball is one Newcastle player, two Newcastle players, three Newcastle players. Not to mention Trippier, who is sort of on that left-hand side as well, potentially there to intercept any pass that comes through. Yeah. If you look this way, there is a gap here that Anthony is running into. Yeah. On the overlap, that would give him a one-on-one with Newcastle's fullback.
And just looking at Bruno there, the player who's on him is on his left side. Yeah. So the easier ball for him, you would imagine he's out there.
Open your body up. Either play it inside the fullback that way or play it outside the fullback that way.
That seems the obvious pass.
That seems the obvious pass to me as well. And again,
I fancy Anthony there as well.
Yeah, me too. And the speed of Anthony, and then all of a sudden, imagine if the play goes forward slightly there, Anthony's got the ball on the right hand side, then you've got a 2-on-2 or 2-on-3 in the middle for him to cross the ball to. Yeah. And and then the defenders are struggling, don't know where the runners are. As it stands, to pass to Ronaldo there, to me, it seems unnecessary. Obviously, we move forward. That's exactly what happens. The pass came across the pitch. To me, inexplicably, the ball gets cut out by Newcastle's defender. You think, OK, fair enough. People make the wrong decision, or he's trying something slightly extravagant. Bruno Fernandes, he does that typically. This is another one. And this one, to me, might be, we're going to do a couple of examples here. This one, to me, might be the most egregious. Bruno Fernandes again. Here's the position we find ourselves in, right? There's Cristiano Ronaldo there. Yeah. And here in the middle of the pitch, with free space in between him, is Jadon Sancho running into all of this space here. Yeah. Literally running through on goal. Yeah. A left-footed pass from Bruno Fernandes there puts Jadon Sancho one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
He just about looks like he's onside.
Well, he's clearly onside. I think
there's kids playing him on. So a good pass there. Even if you do it with the outside right foot, you can probably... You're right, it should be a left-footed pass.
If you don't trust your left foot, an outside of the right foot pass into Jadon Sancho there, to me, is not necessarily comfortable, but it is so much more worth the risk of, yes, you've got to play it past these Newcastle players who are trying to get back, but they're behind it. Really to put a player through on goal.
Position from Jadon Sancho.
It's a brilliant position for Jadon Sancho to be in.
But he's got wrong side of the defender.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he's the right side of the defender, but obviously from the defender's point of view, and there's acres of space there.
Exactly. And the other option is you play the ball to Ronaldo, who is one-on-one with Kieran Trippier.
Yeah.
Kieran Trippier is between Ronaldo and the goal there. Yeah. There is no defenders between Jadon Sancho and the goal.
Yeah.
To me, there is absolutely no sense in putting that ball anywhere except in that space there, as I've highlighted. Obviously, you know what I'm going to say. Moving forward, the ball goes out to Ronaldo on the left-hand side. Yes, potentially could have won a penalty from that.
Yeah.
There was contact on Ronaldo there. But instead, what you've got is a contested shot from a difficult angle at the corner of the 6-yard box. Yeah. Which is simply a worse scenario than even now, look, Jadon Sancho's unmarked in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have taken that difficult a pass.
And again,
to give Sancho that opportunity.
Not Ronnie's fault.
No, I'm not
Ronnie's
blaming Ronaldo.
Doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I'd want Ronnie. He's in a good position himself. Yes, he's not in as good a position as Jadon Sancho, but he's not. You can't ask Ronnie to do more than what he's doing.
No,
he's giving him an option. But what he's also done is, well, by crook, there's more space for Sancho.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
a nice little through ball. And a player, listen, I've been a big fan of Bruno Fernandes, and a player of his ability should be able to get his head up and see that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if we go back to that original image, Ronaldo's doing the exact thing you want him to do, which is keep the space wide, pull this man out that way. That's what he should be doing.
That's a doable pass, that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very doable pass. He's making sure that Trippier has to go on a run like that or a run like that. He's making sure that Trippier can't come across to Sancho. Ronaldo's doing the perfect thing, and the pass is just wrong. And I can't. And again, maybe it's not that they're so overawed by Ronaldo, or that Ronaldo shouts at him when you don't pass to him. Maybe it's not that. But I'm trying to come up with a logical answer that explains why so often we are finding the wrong pass that happens to be
It's
to
weird,
Ronaldo.
isn't it? Because on the previous one, you could say, okay, maybe he's not got his head up, and maybe the easy one, the obvious one, he's not gone for.
Yeah.
Here he's gone for the obvious one, because it's right in front of him, but he should get his head up there.
Yeah.
You should know, I've got a player who's through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Really, I think it's a bit narrow-minded there, or short-sighted from Bruno Fernandes, because a little through ball there, and you know Sancho's got a one-on-one.
Yeah, I mean for me that is the best example. This is another one, Diogo Dalot in Europe there. Again, he's going to be forced into a relatively tight shot.
Away, innit?
Ammonia away. He might be forced into a relatively tight shot across the goal with his left foot. But again, you're about to make contact with the ball with no goalkeeper in the net.
Yeah.
Why are we then playing the ball back to Ronaldo, stopping, turning around, trying to give it to Ronaldo, and the ball goes to the goalkeeper instead?
Right.
To me, again...
I mean, I don't want to get into sort of, dodgy territory. Do you think there's a reverence perhaps a bit more with the Portuguese players because they know him, they play with him for the country? He's the icon of Portugal in terms of football.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, well, it's Ronnie, innit? Get it to Ronnie.
Maybe.
Or do you think, is this something you've noticed throughout the team?
Well, Anthony, again, he's Brazilian from a Portuguese-speaking country. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. We couldn't get the screenshots here because access to the games is difficult, obviously. But there's a point in the Newcastle game where Anthony played a clip cross. Ronaldo was basically unmarked on the penalty spot. He played a cross to him that went over his head. And you saw him apologising, going, oh, it's only close one at Anthony to Ronaldo. A bad cross. 2 minutes later, Anthony's running down the wing on the right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes is on his inside, in the box, 18-yard box, free, with plenty of space. All he had to do was lay a right-footed pass to him, or even an outside-the-foot left foot if you want to do it that way, because you don't like to.
He likes doing that, doesn't he?
Yeah. Instead, he bends a left-footed outside-of-the-foot cross, trying to get it past two Newcastle players to the back post where Ronaldo is.
I remember that.
You can side foot a 10-yard short pass to Bruno Fernandes for an open shot on goal. Obviously, the goal is there, but it's a free shot on goal. And instead, 2 minutes before, sorry, that cross wasn't quite right, was it, Ronnie? I'll make it up to you by basically making the wrong pass. And maybe it's not a Ronaldo thing, maybe it's just a centre-forward thing, but to me, it feels as though there's such reverence around Ronaldo, and it seems to be bad mistakes to favour Ronaldo so often that I can't see really what else it could be. We've got a couple more if I bring this in here. Here's another one in the same game, Ammonia away. Marcus Rashford in that position there. Obviously, let me just get rid of that. Obviously, you can see Cristiano Ronaldo in the middle of the box there. Now, there is no player between Rashford and the goal there. It's a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And honestly, I can understand why you might want to square that. I can understand it because you're thinking, if I square this, it's basically an open net for Ronaldo. But I honestly don't think if the player that's there is Martial or Sancho or someone else that he would square that. To me, that is such a perfect position for Marcus Rashford to open his body up and put that trademark ball in the bottom corner like he does so often.
Yeah.
It just feels, again, just a little bit of a, I'll give it to Ronnie. And then obviously...
The irony here there as well is if he does that, even if the keeper pulls off a save, the likelihood is when he's tapping it in.
Yeah, exactly. And again, obviously, we play it forward. He plays the ball across, and it's a shit pass.
It was a bad
which again
ball.
is Rashford's fault. None of this is to blame Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Ronaldo was doing the right thing.
Sort of fuming with himself.
Yeah.
He's certainly not fuming with Ronaldo.
He played the ball across. It just went straight in front of everyone and out for a goal
I think
kick.
as well, you know, you're a striker for United who scored, 6 goals last season?
Yeah.
Or an attacker for United. Goals have been hard to come by. This season, you've hit the ground running.
Yeah.
You know, you're one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Just bury it.
Yeah, if you find yourself in that position...
Marcus Rashford should be able to score that goal.
Even if you want to open your body up, tease the pass and whip it near post. He's got so many options there. But I think, personally, for Marcus Rashford, a shot in the back of the net... Because let's not forget, Ronaldo still has to have a shot.
Yeah.
The goal is going to come across and close that angle down.
Yeah.
So someone's got to hit the ball here. It's not like if you pass it to Ronnie, then you've scored, necessarily. You're one-on-one with the goalkeeper there. You've got to hit the back of the net. You've got to be having a shot. To me, it just feels as though you're thinking, OK, Ronnie's there, I'll pass it to him. Sort of almost, I'll save myself here. And again, I'm not blaming all these players, and it's certainly not Ronaldo's fault, but I just think, is there something in their heads where they're going... Not only is it Cristiano Ronaldo, he's not really scored much this season. In this game in particular, it felt like, let's get Ronnie a goal.
Yeah, no, it did.
Almost aside from the fact that he's Cristiano Ronaldo, just as a struggling teammate, it was like, let's get him a goal.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's playing on it, a mixture of, fucking hell, it's Ronaldo there, and I've just put a cross over his head. I better try and find him next time.
Do you think there's an element of Ten Hag noticing this when he pulled him off against Newcastle? Because it was quite controversial, that decision, wasn't it, to a lot of people. I mean, I was at the game at the time, and there was a few sort of murmurings, but I didn't see most people were that annoyed or surprised.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, a couple of people who stand near me, especially Woody, my mate, who loves Ronaldo, was like, I can't believe you're taking off a proven goal scorer. But by and large, I thought people were like, he's not having a great game.
Yeah.
He's not really been at it. I know he was unlucky with the goal that got disallowed with the referee's whistle and all the controversy there. And like you said, maybe could have had a penalty. But I think people were sort of accepting it is the point I'm getting at. It's like, all right, okay, this isn't a big deal. Do you think there is a bit, maybe Ten Hag noticed that, or do you feel it's just, he's 37, he's getting on, or...
I don't know if he's looking at it as like, why do they keep passing to him when he's not on?
Yeah.
But I think, we've scored 1.8 goals per game when Ronaldo's not playing and 1 goal per game when he's playing on average. It's a small sample size, and there's also something to be said for the fact that other better, at this stage of their career, more suited players to Ten Hag coming instead.
It was interesting, wasn't it, in the derby, because there was that sort of, again, I keep using the word controversy, but it does seem to be a little bit controversial, where Martial came on, Ronaldo didn't, and then there was the thing, I didn't want to, his career, bring him on.
Out of respect for his career.
Now, I don't know, was that someone pointing out that maybe they didn't want him to get his 700th goal in a 6-3 or 6-2, whatever it could have been, defeat, whether it was just a case of him coming on to what was United getting hammered, and it's like, the optics of it, it was just, oh, look, there's Ronaldo trudging around the pitch as United getting battered. It was just it was a bit of a weird scenario, wasn't it? Because you think, no matter what, as United manager, your job is always going to be to give yourself the best chance of getting goals, getting in the game. I know we weren't going to get back in it, but at least, get some goals. So if you thought Ronnie was going to do that for you, you'd bring him on, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He did feel a bit like that was almost like a get out of jail free card. It does feel as though he's treated differently, doesn't it? It feels as though he's treated differently to everyone else. Yeah. And some of that makes sense because it's Ronaldo. Yeah. Not only what he's done for United, but what he's done in... I mean, he's arguably the greatest player ever.
Yeah.
So
treat him a little bit differently. But at the same time,
if
we're going to be playing this system and this style of Ten Hag's where it's all about the system. Yeah. It's about players doing what he says. It's not just, go out there and have fun, go out and express yourselves. It's about playing to the system. I think you've got to put the system first in every scenario. Not just about, out of respect for his career, we didn't play him. It's like, have you ever seen Band of Brothers? No. In Band of Brothers, right, David Schwimmer plays, who is he? He's a lieutenant. Right? Yeah. No, he's a captain, but he's a right knobhead. And he's horrible to Dick Winters. But Dick Winters eventually becomes a major. And they see each other, right? And David Schwimmer says, "Hi, Dick, you all right?" Doesn't salute him. Dick Winters goes, "Oi, Captain Sobel, we salute the rank, not the man."
Yeah. You can get your saluting out. Yeah, that's what you do.
So do you think they're saluting the man, not the rank?
Yes.
Because technically he's our second choice striker.
Yep. I feel there is a little bit of that. Listen, I'm keen. We're going to get, obviously, into the people's opinions, what I hear from you guys.
Yeah.
First of all, though, the guys at Last Fan Standing for Bet Victor have been having a bit of a chat. Here's what they had to say.
Klopp is a better manager than Pep Guardiola, isn't he, Booby?
Grow up, Flav. Grow up. I mean,
I've always felt he is, you know.
I think he is.
Well,
I think Pep Guardiola's given me some huge nightmares in my life, and those two Champions League finals, will live with me forever. Like, they made me, like, it's just like death by 1,000 passes in those games. But
yeah,
but that's football. That's what football's about.
With Jurgen Klopp, man, look what he's doing with less. I just think
exactly.
I just think ultimately he is doing more with what he has.
Yeah,
I think he always has done.
If you look at it,
if you had to choose one for your,
sorry.
Well, if you had to choose one for your club, ads like to take Man United forward as they are right now.
United have big money though.
Yeah, but who would you choose out of the two? Big Klopp.
I would choose Jurgen Klopp.
Poovy, it's not a problem. You don't have to have the best things all the time. It's fine if Klopp's better than Pep. He's still got a really good manager. You don't have to be so defensive about it all the time.
It's a subjective thing. It's a subjective thing, of course. It's about your taste in football. I just think there's a real argument that Guardiola's top 5 managers in the history of the sport. And I think Klopp's, I think he's second at the moment. I think he'll be top 20 of all time. I think there's a gulf between them. I think one's got 2 Champions Leagues, 2 Champions Leagues and 3 appearances against the greatest manager of all time in Alex Ferguson, in my opinion. The other won a Champions League final against Spurs, scraped it, lost 2 Champions. He's lost 3 Champions League finals. That's not down to him being, counting the pennies and having this kind of Leicester City mentality. He spent a lot of money as well, and he's done really, really well. But he's won 1 Premier League. He's won 1 Premier League.
It's a bit of an interesting debate there with Adam McCullough, Boovy and the other chaps on Last Man Standing about Victor. With Klopp and what he's done at Liverpool and this whole Klopp versus Pep. Pep's obviously won more Premier League titles. Klopp won 1 Premier League title, but he has won a Champions League. Got to 3 finals, hasn't he, with Liverpool. And he's got to a final with Dortmund as well. Boovy having a bit of a dig at Klopp for losing 4. Is it 4? He lost 3 finals, hasn't he, and he's won 1. McAfee making a point about Klopp spent a lot of money, but he hasn't had the money to spend that Pep's had, has it? I mean, it annoys me, this debate, because we should have a United man in there.
I know,
and hopefully in a few years' time it'll be Pep, Klopp and Ten Hag or something.
Yeah.
But at the minute, we've not, because it's just those 2 that have been going toe-to-toe for some of the titles, not all of them, because, United have finished second a couple of times. And obviously, Klopp's had relative success in the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that one? Because I know people won't care. I hate City and hate Liverpool, so it's worth talking about.
And also, we all like football.
Yeah.
So you have
I don't buy into this idea you don't talk about other clubs.
No.
I've hate Leeds United and they're shit, but I talk about them.
Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe because I'm from the sort of, I didn't see Ferguson at Aberdeen. I saw him at United.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm from the angle of like, I think maintaining incredibly high standards over a long period of time is harder than taking a team and having these sort of big peaks and troughs like we've seen Liverpool have. I know they were consistent in, 102 points out of 105 possible points, ending one season, starting the next.
Yeah.
But winning 4 titles out of 5 in a row in the league, big favourites to win it again this year. I felt like people who said that Fergie won the league because he had the best team was always just a shit excuse because he was a great manager. So I think if I had to pick between the 2, I think yes, Pep's fucked it up in a few big finals, and he has. Or not big games rather than big finals, because he usually wins finals. But I think probably sustaining that greatness is harder to do than having a... They're both doing all right.
If you'd have had someone at United, would you have?
Now, Pep.
Pep.
Yeah. But if neither of them had been at their... No, I think I'd go Pep.
Would you?
I just
would
feel
you
like...
have gone for Pep after Fergie?
Yeah. I would have gone for Pep after Fergie.
I think I've... it's funny because I did a video, I remember at the time when Fergie decided, we were talking about this the other day, and I said I wanted Klopp, but I did an article or a blog when it was looking like Fergie was going to retire, or when we knew Fergie was going to retire, saying Guardiola should come in. Just a bit frustrating. We haven't been able to get a manager who's come in and had that longevity. But Erik Ten Hag will be the answer to our problems. Go and check out Bet Victor and Last Fan Standing. Yeah. Let them know your comments. Say that Stretford Paddock sent you. Let them know, do you think Klopp's doing a good job, or who do you think is best out of Klopp or Pep? Do any of them even come remotely close to what Sir Alex Ferguson did in the Premier League? Not remotely close. They didn't. Fergie built teams up from scratch and then rebuilt them again, which I don't think any of them have done. But yeah, it's always worth chatting about it. What have the comments been saying about Ronaldo? Because we're going to get into the press conference in a minute, because Erik Ten Hag has been chatting to the press ahead of tomorrow's game with Spurs. I want to hear from everyone, though, because it's obviously a hot topic, Ronaldo. What's the man then been saying?
Good debate in the comments. Yeah? Really good debate. Yeah, a few people saying, someone saying, if you feed the goat, he will score, except, of course, this season's evidence is that he won't. How many chances has he missed this season? Big G says they fear the wrath of Ronaldo if they don't pass him the ball. That's exactly what it is. And then other people saying, you can't blame Ronaldo for other people passing to him.
No, we haven't either. Not going to blame Ronaldo for getting himself in positions and, demanding the ball. I think the question is, are we sort of overdoing it with trying to get him these passes? Yeah. It's a question. It's a good debate to have. Some people may say, no, we're not. We should be trying to pass him the ball. He is the GOAT. You may argue that actually a lot of these passes are to a player in a good position, so it's not a drama. Or you may look at it and go, as Joe was pointing out in some of those graphics, we saw that there are players in a better position, and it feels like it's either they're trying too hard to keep Ronaldo, or the vision in there from some of them. They need to get their head up.
Just so I can quote exactly that Anthony quote from, I think it was last week. Okay. And again, this isn't even much of a knock on Anthony. It's getting used to systems, getting used to things. I don't think this is going to plague us for a long time. But this is how he speaks about Ronaldo, the sort of reverence he talks about him with, which, respect, fair enough. He says, words can't describe Cristiano, the best in the world. In just a few short days, I've learned a lot from him. He has an extraordinary mind, and whenever I talk to him, I take a lot from it. Sancho said, it's great to play next to someone who people call the GOAT. It's actually kind of crazy. When I first came into that dressing room, I was kind of stunned. I couldn't believe I was going to be able to play alongside him. Dallo, to work with someone who has his culture of working, his professionalism, his mentality, and being up close to him, it's been very helpful for my career. So, understandably, all of these players absolutely idolise Cristiano Ronaldo. And of course you would. But I just wonder if sometimes his name and his stature and the pressure and presence he brings to the dressing room means that we do things that you wouldn't do if it was anyone else. That's the point.
I hear you.
Yeah.
He's the face of an angel, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes. There's been a press conference today, Erik Ten Hag speaking to the media ahead of tomorrow's Old Trafford clash against Tottenham Hotspur. On Ronaldo, we're talking about Ronaldo. Ronaldo looked miffed when he got subbed against Newcastle United. Erik Ten Hag says, I think no player is happy when they get off, and especially not Ronaldo. As long as it is in quite a normal way, no problem with that. Listen, I remember Ronaldo getting subbed back end of the 2009 season and throwing his boots and everything when Fergie took him off because he wanted the golden boot, and I think he was a couple of goals behind whoever won it that season. So that's nothing new there. Kind of expect it. You're not going to get Cristiano Ronaldo skipping and dancing for joy after he's had a frustrating afternoon and been subbed after 70 minutes. On Maguire and Van der Beek, one of them not quite, but the other one definitely the forgotten man. I think Donny Van der Beek. Has he got a future at United? Nah.
Probably not.
Nah. If you're ex-manager who you made your name come to the club and you're still struggling, I know he's had injuries, but you're still struggling, then I think it's time to move on.
The problem is that it's not even like Fred where it's like, he's not first choice anymore, but he's getting an opportunity to prove himself. If, like Fred played the other day, if he'd have pulled an absolute worldie out of the bag, he might start against Tottenham. I know Donny's been injured, but even when he hasn't been, he's like the second or third option off the bench, let alone second choice or first choice. It feels like he's not even going to get the chance to prove himself. So how can I see him coming back in the team when he's not even playing sub minutes? Unfortunately for him, I just can't see how that's going to turn around.
I think that maybe Erik Ten Hag, we're hearing that he hasn't got loads of money to spend in summer.
It's bankrupt.
He might have to sell a few players that are just not. And I think Van der Beek is one of the few players you get Summit for.
I think you get between 15 and 25 million.
Say you get 25 million for him, you get another 15 million for Wan-Bissaka. Maybe that goes towards a striker or whatever. It's sad that we have to think like that because of Glazonomics or whatever. But we spent a lot of money this summer, and the noises we're getting was not going to be untold riches next summer. So on Maguire and Van der Beek, Erik Ten Hag says, making good progress. and they will return to team training next week. I think he said as well that Martial hasn't been training, he's out, I think, for tomorrow's game. On Eriksen, though, he said we have to wait. He's just on the pitch in team training. We have to see how he recovers from that, and then we'll make a decision tomorrow. We need him back, don't we?
Yeah.
We missed him against Newcastle.
Yeah, we did. Just getting in positions where, you know, Fred has got his talents and his perks, but too often for me, Fred is found lacking in quality instead of how much his qualities are. He's unable to show his qualities enough that it makes up for how often his qualities are clearly lacking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And you actually threw some stats at me yesterday that Fred's numbers for that game were actually relatively impressive.
Yeah, well, I've got them here if you want.
Oh, yeah, go on.
So
this is for the Newcastle game.
Yeah, so how Fred can sort of, maybe deceptive style. I think Steve...
I think it is.
I think Steve said, gave him a 0 out of 10 rating on his review.
I wouldn't have gone that far.
No. And yet Fred made the most passes of anyone on the pitch against Newcastle, most attacking third passes, so not just passing it, you know, sideways on his own halfway line, attacking third passes. He was second in chances created for United, only behind Bruno Fernandes. He also won the most attacking aerial duels, had the most ball recoveries with 9, so he won the ball back for Man United 9 times.
That's impressive.
The most of anyone. Yeah, I mean, it's...
I'm not going to lie to you.
Looks great.
You know, I wasn't stood at Old Trafford with an iPad with stats on it. I was watching the football in front of me.
Exactly.
And the moves broke down a lot with him.
And I think iPad with stats has, at some point, or in some realms, replaced what we actually see.
Yeah.
Because as much as I like iPad with stats, it isn't a swap for fucking watching football.
No.
Like, and sometimes you, especially I think Twitter and social media, you're forced to believe that it is, or encouraged to believe that it is. Well, look at that, he had the most passes completed. Yeah, but were they the passes of a player who can break the lines?
Yeah.
Or were they, I'd rather, instead of 53 passes, I'd rather 45, but 5 of those created chances. You know,
I mean, you've not mentioned, I know it's a different type of midfielder, but Casemiro and any of those stats. Yeah, I wouldn't have said Casemiro had a bit of a stinker.
Well, the only
I would say Fred had a bit of a stinker.
Yeah, exactly. The only big
like
stat that Casemiro tops was tackles, which was 7, which, to be honest, is staggering. 7 tackles is massive.
Yeah.
Like, I think the best in the league last season averaged about 3.6 per game.
Yeah.
3.7 per game.
He's coming into it,
7
Casemiro. He is.
Yeah.
We need midfielders in front of him, and Bruno needs to pull his socks up a bit as well. That's a different debate.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap it up there, to be honest with you. I loved all that, Joe. Thanks for going through the Ronaldo thing. It's a good debate. Listen, you know, personally, I think I don't want to sit on the fence here. I think there's a little element of us over trying to give Ronnie the ball as well. And I think there's just a general problem with Manchester United and our vision.
Yeah.
I think too many players have got their heads down. And they're not looking over the shoulder. They're not having their head open going, oh, actually, there's a better ball on there. I think there is a little bit of that, and it's getting annoying. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've scored, I think, the second least amount of goals in the top 10 other than Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I think, which is pretty poor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You look at the attacking talent we've got, Ronaldo, Rashford, Martial, okay, he's barely played, but he's at least got some goals. You can even throw in, you know, Sancho, obviously, Anthony, who's come in. We should be getting goals every game.
How many forward lines in the Premier League have got 4 or more players who have all scored 20 league goals in their career?
No.
Is any other?
No, I don't think so.
Or 20 goals, sorry, in their career.
Yeah, you've had, like, obviously Rashford's at 20 goals in all competitions.
Yeah.
Martial, Ronnie's done, 50 goals, I think.
Sancho as well.
Sancho, I mean, what's going on there?
Bruno as well.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we should be doing better.
Who else has got this wealth of goal-scoring ability in their team?
Sort of not playing to the top level that they can do. And it's a little bit frustrating. Hopefully, we can rectify that against Tottenham Hotspur. Who's on the watch-along for you, Spurs?
Well, it'll be me, it'll be Tom Cooney as well. We'll have Abdul in the stat corner as well.
I like that. I like this little combo you got going on with the stat corner. So make sure, it's a 8:15 kick-off in it, so what time are you going live tomorrow?
We'll be live at 7:15.
So 7:15. One thing we do need is we need you guys to send us your score predictions.
Yeah.
So literally, when we say score predictions, all you do, get your phone out, right? Yeah, even I can do this.
Yeah.
Film yourself like that in landscapes for 30 seconds. Just give us your score predictions. If you want to say who you think's going to score, great. We just literally want about 30 seconds from you, and then send it in to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. This is your opportunity to get in the channel. I want more of you guys on the channel, and this is it. What we do is, before the watch along, if you've not seen what we do before, we'll play those predictions, and you send it, as long as you don't say anything ridiculously offensive, it'll go in.
And even if you do, it still might go in.
As long as it's offensive.
If you get Callum on a lackadaisical day, it'll probably still go in.
Yeah.
So take a chance.
Exactly. So even if it is ridiculously offensive, it'll go in. But yeah, 30 seconds. Send it in. paddockmatchday@gmail.com. Send us your score predictions, man. We don't do fan cams anymore. That doesn't mean the door's closed on fans coming on the channel. We want you on it, and we want to hear what you guys have got to say about who's going to score, what the score's going to be, whether you're feeling confident. It's a great way to build it up before we get to the guys on the watch along. So make sure you're sending that in. Again, paddockmatchday@gmail.com.
We'll put that email address in the description as well, so click on that and you can send an email straight
it's
over.
in there, because I know I'm banging this a lot, but we want you guys to send us your predictions. We want you on the channel, because it means less work for me, and I'm lazy.
Lazy Jay.
Yeah, lazy Jay. Listen, love that. Thanks for that. I'm going to be doing more of these sort of videos as well, because now Joe's got his new toy. He loves it, and quite frankly, I like it as well. So make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Go and check out Sloppy Joe's podcast. When's your next episode out?
Episode out at 5 o'clock today.
Today, so that's Joe McGrath, Joe Smith, and Ethan James, of course, as well. So make sure you subscribe to that. Subscribe to this channel as well. We want to get to 700,000 subscribers by Crimbo, and with your support, we can do it. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. This has been a look at the big Ronaldo problem. Thanks for watching.